Are you planning on hiking Scotland, perhaps doing the Kepras Trail or the Scottish National Trail? In this video I'm going to show you the way I packed my backpack, so that hopefully you learn something from that. What I added to my chest pocket, which I strongly recommend, and the gear that helped me successfully complete the Scottish National Trail in 27 days, including filming, and I did a lot of it. I have already covered most of the items that I'm going to show you now in other gear reviews I did, like the Kepras Trail gear review, for example. So do watch those videos if you want more in-depth information about some of the items. However, I'm going to speak about those items that I never used before, like my GPS. We're going to start with the clothes that I put on every day, which is what you can see right now. Here in my leg front pocket, I was always carrying in and out my auto research sun gloves. What I like about these gloves is they provide a little bit of warmth, just a little bit. They feel good when they're wet, even soaking wet. They still have a very good feeling to them, and they have a slight, it's not cushioning, but you can see that that will help you not developing here a blister like it happens to some people. Just one thing in my pockets, these gloves, same place always, so I know where they are, I know where to put them, I never lose them. This is my hard shell. Whenever I wasn't using it, I would mostly put it on the outside of the backpack, because chances are I will have to grab it rather sooner than later. This is the... whoa. There you go. That's it. So, since this backpack is so awesome, I would just use this. Put it like this. Just like this a little bit. So that gets you fully covered, no problem. I also wanted to tell you about the way I put on my trousers. So I started wrapping the trousers with the socks over them and the gaiters. I stopped using the gaiters for the most part. Only in those sections that were very muddy, I would use them. This is style number one, the thin folded up with gaiters or without gaiters for the most part. And why I like this style, you look stupid, but the bottom of your trousers will not get wet, muddy, dirty, etc. And remember, at the end of the day, you go with them in your tent. So I prefer to have my nice and clean, sort of dry, at least clean from mud, etc. I prefer to bring that in my tent at night, so I could fold it on the side, it wouldn't make the tent dirty, it wouldn't make anything else dirty. I started the trail like this. So you have the trousers, the socks, the gaiters. And this, I would just remove it. This one survived so far. And just go like this if you're gonna walk on road. Otherwise you will destroy very quickly these strings. These Saucony shoes have like an attachment point for your gaiters. I find it very useful. It actually has two. Has one more here. This over here is where I put my gaiters, but it has also an attachment point for different gaiters over here. So this is a merino wool t-shirt, and this is more like for summer. I use this during the day, and then I have a different one to go to bed, which is warmer. I talk about this fleece in the part 1 of this review series, so to call it. So check out the video. I think we'll put a card here that should pop up somewhere. So this thing, never again. So yeah. As for the trousers, I also review them in my Kepras Trail gear review. How pretty. I really like them, they're very nice, they're from Rab. Have you ever been in a situation where you need to put on your neck gaiter, your hat, your gloves, have a bite, anything you need handy, you put it here. You just go like this, open the thing, and grab your items. So, one thing to say, it has a pocket here on the back as well. I'll show you. This is a pocket, mesh pocket. So I used to put some trash there, and otherwise on one of the external pockets of my backpack. The thing also has pockets in the inside. So this is one pocket here, you see them? So in the first pocket, I just put my toilet paper. This is biodegradable. In the second pocket, I had, for the most part, my VCAA that I talked about in my past gear review, and they seem to aid with recovery. And my downgraded knife, because I used to have a much awesome, like a lot nicer knife. And my tactical knife, I really love this knife, it's awesome. You can deploy with just one hand, and I'm just having this. Paid 20 pounds for it, and it does the job. And it weighs 100 grams less than the previous one, so there you have it. Everything counts. This is my mini tripod. It's fantastic, I love it. What is good about this tripod is that you put something here, and then there's a button. You press a button, and then you can move whatever you have, adjust it, and leave it. Why is that important? Because you can put the tripod like this in surfaces. See? And it's gonna be flat. So that's fantastic. And if you wait for the right offer, you can pick this up for 10 pounds in Amazon. There's a website called Camel, just like that, just Google it. It's an Amazon price tracker. You can register there if you want, and we'll send you price alerts. You can also buy an attachment. I bought the one that is the Pro. I'm using it right now, that's why I'm not showing you. So I had these two, and with the attachment, you can put your phone, and also has a hot shoe on top, so you can put a microphone if you so want to. Both things fit here with the attachment too. Every single day, as I said in the part 1 of this review, I had 4 protein bars. I would always put them the previous night so that they're here in the morning and I don't have to worry about it. I don't forget. The thing about this is that you don't have to stop. You get hungry, grab a bar, keep going. We have the neck gaiter, it's merino wool, and the hat is also merino wool. I covered both in my previous reviews, so check them out. This is great to have because, especially in the morning, you don't know how the day is gonna develop. So you have this handy. Usually I had it on, to be honest. So I would get up in the morning, put on my hat and my neck gaiter. And then as I started hiking, I would get rid of the hat and time after the neck gaiter. So I just pack it in my chest pocket. If the day becomes cold again, if I stop, if I need it for whatever reason, it's here, it's handy. You don't have to take off the backpack, reach for it, where is it? Oh, it's in my clothes. Take everything out. It's just nice and easy in your chest pocket. These are my merino liners. They're gloves, merino wool. I used them very little, so I could have left them at home, but it was nice to have them when I used them, and they only weigh 40 grams, I think. So it was worth carrying them around. I don't know if you've seen my ragging videos in London. Check them out too. Usually I have this with me. If it gets a bit chilly, I put them on. The good thing about the merino products is that they don't pick up odor, or not as much as synthetic by any means. Even if they're completely soaking wet, they retain some warmth. And if they get soaking wet, like these gloves were massively wet once that they were here, this is not fully waterproof. They got completely wet. So you just squeeze them like this, get rid of the water, put them on, and believe it or not, a while after, they're almost dry. And you like, they feel good immediately on your skin. They're really nice. So to me, strong recommendations are any products that are made of merino wool. They're just fantastic, and you really invest in quality. So this is my light torch. I really like it. It's from Petzl. I paid 15 pounds for it, and I have reviewed in other videos. It's really nice. It stays there where you put it. You can regulate it like down. And now it's empty, so I cannot show you. It has 3 white light levels and 2 for the red light. One is just a strobe function. I really like it. If you're planning on hiking with when it's dark, as I did, it's a great buy. Just really nice, and the batteries last forever. I mostly use the red light, so just one tip: the red light consumes a lot less battery than the white ones. If you just give yourself a while before you switch on the light torch, your eyes will get used to darkness. Then, if you want to use your white light that consumes more battery, you only mostly use the level one, the one that consumes the least battery, because your eyes are adjusted to darkness. This is one of these moisture absorbers. I don't remember where I found this, but basically, you know, when you buy electronics mostly, or sometimes running shoes and other products, they come with a little sack, so that absorbs moisture. Whenever you have like your zip bag with your electronics, just throw a few moisture absorbers in it and it's really gonna help. By the way, I also carry my phone here in a zip bag, one of the big zip bags. I will put the phone with 2 or 3 these moisture absorbers that I was talking about, and I will roll it up and then put it in here all the time. Some of my viewers ask me, why did you get the GPS? What happened? What happened is simply that it had been raining for like a week, I don't remember, for the most part. But especially when I was on my way to the Cairngorms, it was a super rainy day from the very morning. I think the day before had been raining all the time as well. And the phone started to give me warning messages that something like humidity had been detected in the charger, the phone may switch off. I was right getting to the sort of lost area of the Cairngorms, and then I still had a day ahead. So I got scared that the phone would stop working and then I would just be completely lost in the middle of nowhere. It was a horrendous day, trust me. I've never seen anything like that. As I said in my video, it was like a different dimension, which is crazy. I've never seen anything like that. I'm not kidding you, fucking rivers in every path, man. It was insane. I thought it was in a fucking different dimension. I thought to myself, alright, I don't want to be in this situation anymore. I want to have a navigation backup, whatever it is. So it's a Garmin. I never liked it. I never got used to it. And if you switch this on, you're going back to the 90s. This is exactly the same thing. And the reason for it is if it's pouring down on the GPS and all, if it's a touch screen, it may start failing like it happens with the phones. So that's why you don't want a touch screen. I talked to a guy that I met in the hike and he told me I have the one with the touch screen and it works perfectly fine, there's no problem. That's what he said. I haven't tested it. Personally, I think it's safer to have a non-touch screen because of the rain. So this is just clumsy in every way. It does have a joystick that helps with navigation, but boy, again, it's super clumsy. The good thing about this thing is it has you covered, because every single time I checked it, it was spot on compared to my phone, or whenever I knew where I was, I checked the thing and it was right there, spot on. It also gives you altitude. It uses AA size batteries. I prefer it this way because you make sure that if you need your GPS, it's gonna be working. Because if the batteries go flat, you have your backup, as I did. So if you need a backup navigation system, I think this is a good one. It's reliable, it's robust, it can take some rain, apparently quite a bit. I haven't tested that. I tried to hide it from the rain and I never used it on trail. I never navigate with it because the phone never failed. But it gave me the peace of mind that if I encounter again a situation like the one that happened to me in the Cairngorms, this will have me covered. We're going to continue now with the items that I have here in my backpack. So here on the back, this is my seat pad, fantastic. I talk about it in other reviews, but let me tell you again, I love it. If you should get one, you love it too. And if you don't, throw it away, give it to somebody, because I paid for this £6.50. So seriously, you can afford trying it. If you don't like it, well, too bad. But it's not that you invested there £50. So if you have one of these and it's not handy, you're not gonna use it. Then you won't love it. So there is super handy. Every single time I took off the backpack, it's because I was gonna sit down. Well, I just had the thing here. It's just really nice. If you're a woman, as I said in other videos, this may help you not having a bladder infection, because apparently cold and bladder infections go hand in hand. So this isolates from the cold, it may help you. Attached here on the side was my trekking pole. You can tense these stripes very easily, just pulling. It's just there. But for the purposes of the review, I need to show you. I talk about this trekking pole. I just wanted to show you where I attach it, how awesome the backpack is, because it has these attachment points. Basically, these straps here and here, they're independent. So you can attach objects like your trekking pole. For the most part, I would say 85–90% of the hike stayed there. Even in the areas that were, I don't know, more difficult, I felt really, I didn't need it. So obviously, it's up to you. I just didn't need it, so I stayed here for the most part. Here in the side pocket, always a hammer. I know, you never know what's gonna happen. I like to have my hammer handy. I can just grab it like going like this, and I can have my hammer, and it's handy. If ever I need it, there's a deer that comes to me or something, I can grab it without taking off the backpack. I like that. So the hammer, or what is left of the hammer. I talk about my hammer in other reviews, you can check that out. I talk about this fantastic piece of kit in my previous review. They're awesome. They're for spear fishing. They have some grip. It's a bit wasted now because I use them for hiking as well. This is just great, also for hiking. I love them. So they are my camp shoes. Most of you know it already, but if you are new to my channel, I use them as camp shoes. They provide isolation. You can use them for hiking. They weigh 104 grams in size large. They're just fantastic. That's all you need. This is my water carrier. So it just folds like this, rolls up. Remember guys, if you buy this thing, don't keep it folded, it's not good for it. And every single time you use it, I'll show you. So you do like this. It's very useless to collect water. You should have a different bottle of water for that. What I ended up doing is, with my other bottle of water, I would refill this one, and it works flawlessly. So every single time you use it, and you're gonna fold it, just fold it the opposite way that you had it. So I had it this side, so now I fold it the other side, like this. So then, and you just go with this string that comes with it, with the product, put it here, and you're good to go. It's a very nice thing. Here is the tent poles and the stakes, the pegs. So now, one thing to say, one piece of advice. Your tent, in my opinion, has to be the most accessible item that you are carrying. So there are different ways to approach the way you pack your backpack, your own personal way. Packing based on weight, like the heavier objects on the bottom, they say. To me, it's mostly the heavier objects should be closer to your back. That's the point for me, not necessarily in the bottom. Then there's the second approach, which is a functional approach. Which items are you going to need the most throughout the day? So those should come in the top so that you can easily access them, and those that you're not going to use are going to be in the bottom. All right, so personal approach, weight approach, functional approach. I have my own personal combination, which is, yes, items like my sleeping bag, sleeping pad, Bivy bag, those are in the bottom. I'll show you as I'm unpacking. And the tent must always be in the top, easy to access it. Why? Because when you reach camp, if it's raining, you really want to have your tent handy so that you have your shelter and then you unpack the rest. Same thing in the morning. The last thing you want is to have to pack your tent in the rain and have all your gear spread there while it's pouring down on you. I hate that. So what I do instead, I pack everything. And when the pack is like completely full and ready to go, then I put down the tent and I put the last thing. and it works for me like perfectly well. That's the way I pack my backpack. So I pay attention to the weight being close to my back, the heaviest objects being close to my back. I pay attention to those objects that I'm going to use the least being in the bottom, those objects that can get wet being in the bottom, and those objects that I'm gonna need the most being in the top. Then throughout the day, sometimes I attach things on the outside. I explained earlier, I always put my jacket outside for the most part. These are my over trousers, my rain trousers. They're here for the same reason. If I'm not gonna use them, I'll put them inside somewhere. But for the most part, I use them almost every day. So they're here. Oh. Here, yeah, for your numbers too. Add 2 of these. This one is almost new. So here, in this side pocket, I always have my wallet, which basically is my credit card, my ID, and some cash in a zip bag, and then the smaller zip bags, and in 2 of them, because I want to make sure that nothing happened to that. And then I also carry here my trash in a zip bag, like papers and all. If I don't put it in a chest pocket, I put it here. On the other side, I have my water filter. It's here from MSR. Boy, I have talked about this, so I won't show you now, but it's just here. And just to say, I used it literally, I don't know, 6 times less. So for the most part, just use your brain, and if it's the water is coming from the top of a mountain, and you know, chances are it's going to be fine. Again, for the like I would say 95% of the time, I did not filter my water, and I follow that technique for the Cape Wrath Trail and also for the Scottish National Trail. Never had a problem, never had stomach anything. Your mileage may vary as always. And yes, there's this famous story of this sheep dead in the river, and then you drink in the water. You know what? I don't care, alright? I just don't care about the freaking sheep dead. Why? Because I train by drinking the tap water in London. So I take any dead sheep in the river before the tap water in London any time of the day. So again, it's your call. There is like a sort of a pocket here. I don't know if you get to see this zip. This backpack has an internal pocket, but it also has a part of that pocket that you can access from the outside. And there, I used to put either my gloves, if I wasn't using them, so that they don't occupy space in my chest pocket, they would go in here. Then I have this net. This is for the laundry. I took it from my wife, actually. I took this in case the rain fly was completely soaking wet, and so I would put it here and then hang it on the strap outside in the backpack, and I don't have to pack my tent, the inner tent, with a wet fly sheet. This star item. This is a humble sponge. It's a little bit wasted because I used it extensively to dry the rain fly when it was completely wet and the rain stopped. So I would just dry it a bit. And it removes weight. It's just mostly because drier rain fly is going to weigh less. So it makes sense that you try to dry it with the sponge. But anyway, I mentioned this in other videos, so check those out. I just strongly recommend this thing, and all you're gonna carry extra is 20 grams. You're going to love every second when you need to clean an object, when you need to remove a paddle inside your tent, and you remember that you brought this because I told you so. Trust me, you'll be very happy. There you go. This is my ground sheet, which is an object that I strongly recommend. So I put it on top like a bit of a roof, so if it's pouring down, this helps. And the water just drips down, so it doesn't goes from the center all the way through your stuff, but it goes to the sides, and I think this helps. And otherwise, I just attach it on the outside to have it handy. And also, if it's wet or dirty, I just put it on the outside. But other times, if I start the day and it's pouring down big time, I put it on the top, even if it's a bit dirty. A ground sheet is really useful. I strongly recommend you having one, even if you have to carry, like me, 230 extra grams. So this is the external pocket that my backpack has. This side is where you can access from the outside, and then there's this other side that you cannot access from the outside, this thing. So I'm going to show you where I usually carry it here. So I haven't figured out a better place to put this. It's just like my spork, so I always put it there. Then I have well, this thing, basically plasters, ibuprofen, liquid one, so you can apply on the spot, and also the one in tabs. So I carry here also a pair of earplugs. I like this type of model. I don't know if you get to see it. To be honest, it's mostly like if I'm on the train and someone is annoying me, or if I were to have to go to a campsite that I've never done yet, then you have earplugs. They make them handy. Different type of plasters. As I said in my previous video, just explore. These are the ibuprofen tabs. Of course, I have always my Compete with me, which, see, it's just like glued to this. To be fair with them, I guess you get to see it. To be fair with Compete, they come in a plastic little box. It's just around, I'm gonna carry the extra weight. But in turn, you know, you screw up a little bit of it, but just a bit. I can just cut this off and the rest of the plaster works fine, so there's no problem. Then I tried different plasters like this. So what is good about this? From this brand, whatever brand, I don't know if you get to see it. So what happened to this is, when the Compete failed to glue to my feet, which is mostly when the feet are wet, or basically you apply the plaster and you start hiking, instead of waiting, I don't know, for an hour or 30 minutes. Then if you start sweating, the feet start sweating, then maybe the Compete like peels off. However, with this brand I found that they will glue very well and will stick to it even in the shower and all. So you see a different type of application. Then there were these, I don't have the brand now, but they're like, you feel it in your hands, they're thicker, and they're advertised as a cushion plaster. I strongly recommend having some of these cushion ones, because what you can do is you apply your Compete or any other plaster you need, you apply that, and then you put a cushion on top if you have a blister in an area that has a lot of friction, or if it's a hot spot in your shoe. So you put a cushion one over the other one if you have to, and so you have the best of both worlds. One piece of advice about blisters. My wife wanted me to say that if you nourish your feet like a week or two before you go on the trail, so the skin is gonna respond better. Some people believe in that. I just don't do it because I don't like putting cream on my feet. But it could be good for you doing so. But what I do is, in your first day, you just put a plaster in that spot where you think you may develop a blister. And so basically it's the better safe than sorry thing. I think the Germans, I forgot the same. My wife told me, I found it very funny. I'll put it on the screen. A nail clipper, a very small one I bought once in a Swiss supermarket, and it still stays with me. Super small, and it does the job well. So it weighs like 20 grams, 25. So that's that. Because every single gram counts. Especially for me, because I also carry around a kilo extra with camera filming gear. And I know I filmed my video so far with my phone, but then I still have to carry a tripod that I didn't show, but I'll show you on the screen. So I have this bigger tripod, the small tripod, the adapter for the phone, my sound recorder, batteries, and whatnot. Biodegradable wet wipes. What I do, if I'm going to have resupplying boxes sent, is I just count the days, and if it's 5 days, I may just pack 7 of these. And I also replace the bag for a zip bag, because I think it weighs less, I remember. Throughout half of the trail, firstly, I wasn't getting my resupplying boxes. Secondly, I just didn't care if I carry 150 grams more or less, even if I carry like 1 kilo more or less. It just doesn't, to me, it didn't make any difference. I didn't feel any difference, so I didn't care anymore. It's something I strongly recommend you having if you're gonna hike the Cape Trail or the Scottish National Trail, or if you're going to be wandering the Scottish remote areas. This is a personal beacon. What I like about this one is just that this is for an emergency, and what it does is you extend an aerial, just removing something here, and all you can do is ask for help, and you will not have confirmation of that help coming for you. And what I prefer is just that you don't have to subscribe to anything, and so I really like that. You know, when your life is at stake, I want easy product, things that do very little but do it well. You know, I don't want these fancy products that offer a lot of functions, but then, you know, with these things, the more they offer, the more chances that they fail as well. This is usually the case. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, you just buy whatever you want. I'll buy this. These are my electronics. Some guys have asked me, how do I do my videos? What are my electronics? I'm going to show you everything now. I film my videos on my phone. This is a Samsung Galaxy S8. It's not amazing, but I haven't seen anything significantly better as to upgrade yet. I have a friend who swears for the iPhone whatever Pro, and probably it's better, but just marginally better, not significantly better. So I'm not gonna upgrade because I don't like throwing away things that are awesome like this phone. I really like it in every single way. I trust this phone because I did the SUW, the CWT, the S&T, all with this phone, and never let me down. Only one day it failed to work, half a day, and my wife's phone didn't work either, so I don't think it was the phone. I'm 100% sure it wasn't the phone. It was something with a GPS, a satellite connection, whatever. So I love this phone. I really like that it's not too thick and big, so it fits in my hand. So if I can walk with it, because I often hike with the phone in my hand because I'm filming all the time. And some people think that if you do 35, 50 kilometers a day, you don't enjoy your hike, you don't enjoy the views. But actually that's not the case, because I really have to pay attention to the scenery because I'm actually making a freaking video. So I do love looking at the scenery, enjoying myself, and it just happens so that I also love putting 35, 40, 50 kilometers because I love enduring. If everything is nice and easy, it's just not a challenge for me. I love enduring. Anyway, back to electronics after digressing. Sorry, I know I digress. So yeah, I film my videos with the phone. I have a sound recorder. I cannot show you now because I'm using it for recording this video. But yeah, I was carrying this to record sounds of nature. If you have watched my Scottish National Trail video, you will, if you put a pair of good headphones, you will notice the audio quality is pretty good compared to other hiking videos, and that's because I made the effort to spend the money on good sound recorder and gear, and also in carrying it because it adds at least 400 grams including batteries and whatnot. So if you haven't watched that video, I strongly recommend you doing so and pay attention to the audio, not when I'm vlogging but the rest of the time, because chances are it was recorded with my sound recorder and I did pay a lot of attention to that. Anyway, that's when it comes to good audio. So these are these humidity absorbers that I mentioned earlier. I had 3 of them. They were like the shrunk when they absorb the moisture or the humidity. I have a set of AA size batteries for my GPS. This is a backup, so I just keep them here because I never use the GPS, so I never use these batteries. These I can charge if I get to a pub or something. This extends up like the Samsung. There you have it. So if you get to a pub, you want to charge your phone or maybe use it while charging. And by the way, I think in some models, if you use the phone while charging it, it will not fast charge. So sometimes it's better for you to first charge the phone while you're having your meal, whatever, and then use it while it's still charging. Ideally, you want to charge the phone and your battery, your power bank at the same time. This is pretty awesome. It's not very thick, as you can see. It also, I like the form factor. It's just flat and it's thin, so you can fold it inside your seat bag, and when you put it in the backpack, it won't annoy you. It's a nice form factor. I have put the models in other reviews in the past, And these are the cables. So I have these. As you can see, they're as small as they can be. This is a bit longer. Why? Because this is for the phone. So I want it longer because if I'm charging the phone while using it, it comes handy to have a slightly longer cable. I think it's worth if you just carry even like double the size of this, double the length. It just makes things a lot easier, and you're just gonna be carrying 10 extra grams. And I know every gram counts, but at the end of the day, there's some grams that are worth more than others. Not all freaking USB cables are made equal. Some will not fast charge your devices, and some will fast charge them, but it will still take longer than others. So test the cables before you bring them on the trail and choose those that will charge your device the fastest. Alright, we're done with this inside pocket and the stuff. So now, easily accessible, the tent. This is obviously not the sack or the bag that came with my tent. It's just a lot better here. Why? Because of the form factor. This is a sort of waterproof bag. It will take most of it, and unless you fall in the river and you stay in the freaking river for an hour, then yeah, I will soak in probably. I haven't tested that. I make sure I don't fall in the freaking river, or that was very close to. So the bag that comes with my tent has this shape, so it's long. So you end up having everything packed in one bag. That's fantastic. But you create a problem with that. First, how you pack the whole thing in your backpack in a way that is functional. I just didn't find a way. The only way I found is to pack things separately. And second, you have a big, bulky, heavy item that ideally you're gonna put it next to your spine. The problem with that is that you cannot pack everything and then the tent in the morning, so you have to pack the tent and then everything else around the tent. Put the tent in the backpack, everything around. If it's pouring down on you, that means that you are putting on your tent under the heavy rain, whatever, and then you put that in the backpack, it's pouring down, everything else, your gear is on the floor, getting completely soaked. Not ideal. So separate objects. Now, let me show you. You may find bags that are more tailor-made, that are not so big, but this is what I had. It works well for me, so why not, you know? I'm not so picky. So yeah, this is the inner tent. And obviously, you don't want to pack this at home this way. Just something that makes sense to you, that the tent doesn't seem to be very compressed. So this is how I pack my tent. And for the time being, just get it out of the way. And this is the rain fly. That's it. So yeah, the tent, I'm happy with the tent, but I'm actually looking at several models that are pitch with just your trekking pole, one single trekking pole, like this Mountain Laurel Design Duomid, although I also found that the Z-Plex, I think it's Plexamid or whatever, and they're cheaper and the same sort of material, so maybe I look at those. Then there is a Japanese brand that I didn't know, and I found out, I put it in the description. I'm looking at that one too, because it seems to be the same again with materials and whatnot, similar price, and it weighs less when it's the tent, the outside, and the inner tent. So it seemed to be the best deal of those models. Here are the clothes. These are the clothes that I took on the Scottish National Trail. At some point in the hike, I was meant to get a resupplying box, a new pair of socks, but eventually, again, I never got that resupplying box, so I ended up using one pair, and I'm wearing them today. They held up, and it just that at some point they felt like cardboard from all the dirt and everything they had. But you know, they did the job until the end, and now I washed them and I'm wearing them today, so awesome buy. And then these, because obviously I wanted to show you, but so I'm not wearing them. I wear this every single day for hiking. So this is the only problem I have. I don't know, here, you see my fingers? So it's just there in the inseam or something. that part of your body under your genitals, so that became very wasted. So here you can see, you don't see my hands, but over there you do. Other than that, the hole isn't still there. It's close to be, but isn't still there. And this form factor simply because it's safe weight, and I think I found it more comfortable for hiking than the boxer style. So, and this is what was always in my dry bag. This is my second dry, clean set of clothes. This is what I put on when I reach camp, when I pitch my tent. So it's a merino t-shirt. It's specifically the Icebreaker Body Fit Basics 200. This one was ideal, combined with the puffy jacket. Likewise, a pair of merino leggings. These are 175. I don't mean the weight of the object, but the thickness of the merino wool, I think. They measure 175, 200, 260, 300, something like that. Just check it out, you'll know what I mean. You know, you can check my other gear reviews for more information, but these are products that I strongly recommend. These are my socks. I bought this ankle length just to save some weight there. Pretty much all I needed. They served me super well. I was super happy I brought this, and I never miss having the full size one. And that's pretty much it, other than my pair of shorts. These are my pair of shorts. I brought this because they weigh in size large, 25 grams. They came very handy when I did a laundry in my friend's house, because I didn't have to be naked, or even worse, I didn't have to put on hair clothes. You know, I wasn't so much into it. I'll show you. And here it is. So yeah, they do the job. So this is the food. I was carrying like 1.23 grams, I don't remember, in food, so I just packed something here just to show you and to pack it. So it's not relevant, it's just oats there and I don't know what else. My cooking system. So this thing, I also reviewed in the other video, is great. It's very nice. And what I carry here, although again it's in the other video review for the Kebra Trail. So yeah, I have my bowl. It's very nice. You can just collapse it down like this. I love this thing. And then I have my coffee and my powdered milk in case you know, it does the trick in the sense that the coffee doesn't look just black, and it gives a little bit of taste. You know, I like it. By the way, you can now get me a free coffee if you check the video description. I joined a thing called Ko-Fi or something. Then I always wrap this, I don't know where I put it, but basically just this bubble wrap paper. So I made a little bit of a bag for this, made on that material, so that it's rain all day like this, you go nuts. So awesome. And here again my fantastic MSR Pocket Rocket 2, I think. I think the 2 version is because the igniter, fantastic. It always delivered and burn up the thing at the first time, fire up the thing the first time I tried. Fantastic thing. I really like it. Just as I said in the other review, just remember it's unstable. You have to be a bit more careful with this thing, but if you are, it's fantastic. So here on each side of the pack I have my Puffy, which I changed for a thicker one in the trail, but still fit here, and my quilt. As I said, I also changed it for the sleeping bag. So I didn't want to guess anything, so I just put a cross also here on the top. So this is my Puffy, this is my quilt. And to me, not only this protects your Puffy and your quilt, this type of bag, I mean, it's completely worth carrying 45 grams versus maybe 20, 23. I know it sounds like double, but it's completely worth it, because if it happens to you that everything is soaking wet and you have a paddle in your backpack, the thick bag is gonna save you. The thinner one may save you actually, but for a period of time. This is peace of mind, and it costs you 20 grams, 25 extra grams. It's not so much. It's not only about that. having a bigger sack or whatever bag for your puffy and your quilt and your sleeping bag, boy, that makes your day so much easier, because you know, every morning when you need to pack these things, and if you put it in the original bags, they're just so small, and I mean they're so well calculated that 1 millimeter more wouldn't fit. So I just prefer something bigger. You can pack things easily. It just makes for a much better start of the day, rather than wrestling your freaking super tight bag. So here's the puffy jacket. I've shown you in the other review. It's the wrap one. I like this jacket. Again, the hoodie is not my favorite. I made fun of it. This is a mid-layer from Jack & Wolfskin, and I bet I can fit the damn thing on top. Other than that, I really like the jacket. And then this is my quilt. The reason why I don't speak about the brand for my quilt and my sleeping bag in my past reviews or this one is because I reached to the brand. They sort of replied. It took them quite a long time, like a month, and when they replied, yeah, I'm going to get back to you, never did. I mean, that's ugly. I don't mind if you don't want to sponsor me, but man, at least, you know, reply if you say you're gonna reply. I don't care how busy you are or whatever. It's just like standards, you know. But anyway, so that's a quilt. I really like it, and I'm not saying the brand because the, you know, like Grab didn't sponsor me. That's fine. But man, they replied to me immediately. It's a nice email. It's just nice ways of doing things, professional ways. This is my Bivy bag. It did the job. It weighs 140 grams, and yeah, it took some brain when it had to. Pretty nice, you know. The good thing about this thing is, combined with all the other sleeping system, like my quilt, my puffy, my merino base layers, combined with all that, then it did a better job. If you just put this on like the way I am now, it's just gonna freeze, period. But combined with the other thing, it adds up, and it's very nice, especially if it rains. And the thing did a great job with the rain. It wasn't heavy rain, it was just like light, started to be a bit like moderate rain, and then it went back to light. But the feeling of being protected, that's invaluable. So I'm talking about when I did cowboy camping. Here I am. And it's time to go because the rain is picking up. So this is a great thing. Let's see what else we have here. The last item is my sleeping pad, just like this. So there's no bag for this, there's no need for it. You can get the thing wet, it doesn't really matter. And because I fold the inside like this is the inside, here's the inside, so I just wrap it like this. So if it gets wet, it's gonna be in the outside only. I think once I got it wet, actually, the day of the cairngorms, it was wet all the way because I was a paddle. So this thing helped. The objects were were on top of this, so the paddle was like at the level of the sleeping pad. But anyway, going back to this item, it did the job perfectly well all the time. I was happy with it, and there's nothing wrong to say. The cons of these are mostly, it's just not too big, but you get used to it. So your arms are always resting like outside of it, in my case at least, which means that they're against the floor of the tent. So when the humidity coming up, you know, I ended up sometimes like this, grabbing my arms like this, putting them in the pockets of my puffy jacket so that they wouldn't fall on the ground of the tent. Cause otherwise you will feel the arm like getting cold. Some people say that this is, if you move around, it's noisy. I never had a problem with that. Then it's true that, and even if I don't move much while sleeping, and I try not to misplace, so to speak, the sleeping pad, because I like to have it in the position I set, which is gonna be the best position, to like the flattest one that I could manage to find in the tent. The thing, man, sometimes it just moves around. It's like it slides. I don't know, it's just what it is. Some people put some seam tape on the ground of the tent so that this thing stick to it. I just pack it like this because if every single morning you have to find the things and fold it perfectly well so that it fits in your bag and whatnot, maybe you do that and it's good for you, great. I just don't want to do that every single freaking morning, the same story, pack it and just like this as it comes, just fold it, turn it a bit so that it fits in the bottom and just put it in there, and that's to me the perfect solution. So just to say, there's two variations of this, so don't end up paying more for the older model than you have to. This thicker valve, hope you can get to see it, with this thing that moves. So the thicker one, I already reviewed this thing, so it's just that as I said in my previous review, the valve is larger, so you end up blowing like this. It's a lot faster than the smaller one, but what happens is after, I think this takes around 11, 12 to me, it takes me 11 breaths, so to say. What happens is you get a bit dizzy because you're blowing air like, and then full lungs and 11 times and you get dizzy. But obviously it's not a big deal. 1 minute after 30 seconds you're fine. And then it deflates a lot faster than the other one. A lot faster, like maybe 10, 15 seconds faster. If you find the older version much cheaper than this, just take it. I don't think there's any difference between the two. I've slept in both of them, they felt the same. The color is a little bit different, no big deal for me obviously. Whichever you find cheaper, I would just take. Even if the older one is only £50 cheaper than this, I would still take the older one. The crucial difference between the old and the new model is that with the new valve, when you blow in, the air doesn't escape. Whereas with the old one, when you blow in, it's like if you blow in a balloon. If you don't hold it, the air goes out. Look, I'll show you. So I blow in, and the air stays here as long as I close this. See? The air is there. I turn this around. Now the air escapes. That's the number one difference. It wasn't a big deal. The only thing you need to do with the old one is you blow air and you hold the valve in your mouth, like sort of like this. You know what I mean. So I think I've covered all the items, and I think I also managed to talk about the things that people had asked. One important thing I wanted to say: I need subscribers, man. I only have 1,000. And this is nothing in YouTube terms. I think I need 100,000 so that Rap comes back to me apologizing, oh, we're so sorry that 3 months ago we didn't accept. No, I'm just kidding. No, seriously, it seems that I need subscribers, so if you found this video helpful and you want to help me, just subscribe. I never asked for subscribers, this is the first time, I'm not ashamed. But just, if you want to help me, just do subscribe, share my videos, and just give me a hand. Thanks for that in advance. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any question, I always get back to people, so you can count on that. So just write it down in the comment section down below. And yeah, hope to see you on the trails. Bye.